Hey guys, my name's Sean. I'm a day trader and an AI engineer architect. I'm starting to learn machine learning and generative AI, but it hasn't always been like that. 5 years ago, I was in prison. I've been selling weed for my whole life, and I decided I needed to make a change. So while I was in there, I was learning from some very influential people and very smart people, and they got me into automated trading. I got out, and I started realizing that LLMs are the perfect assistant and mentor to learning anything. So no longer did I need anybody to teach me something that was held back by a certain group of people or only available to people with money or people that could go to a nice school. I now can use an LLM to take all the information off the internet and then just chat with it as if I'm talking to some professional in this field. So I'm going to show you how ChatGPT especially and LLMs in general. So I want to let you guys know how I use LLMs to become smarter, more efficient, and get high loads of work done in a compacted time frame. I learned how to code, how to do automations, how to trade options, all within a span of 3 months. So I'm making videos on how I'm going to be creating AI generated code, AI applications, and how I use LLMs to teach me things that I'm interested in learning. So I'm going to show you a few things on how I download information at a rate 10 times faster than reading a book or taking some course on from a mentorship, right? I have Socratic learning, which is like everything I'm asking a question, I'm being taught. I'm not being told, I'm being taught. So it's as if I have my own Socrates doing the teaching. So let's start with ChatGPT. I have the paid version. I have ChatGPT 5. So let's take a look over here. ChatGPT. Let me get my notes up. So let's look over here. I'm using the ChatGPT 5 model. It's the best model right now for everyday reasoning and tasks. There's a 4.0 model that's really good with coding. And then they have their Codex application where it's pure coding that I'm using to write all my apps. So first I want to divert your attention to something called a project. Projects are something that maintain context within the entire project based on what you're talking about. So if I were to come over here and start a new chat, right, it's only going to have context that I told it in the settings. So I can say, hey, I'm a digital developer, I'm learning to code, I want you to be Socratic with everything you say, so I want you to teach me everything, and I work as a bartender and I'm leaving my job. That's all the context it will have. But when you start writing within projects, the context remains within the entire project, so every conversation can build off past chat history. So that's one. So before we get into this, it's the very powerful tool. I want to go over my story before, where I was, where I came from, and what I'm doing now and how I'm jump starting my career with AI. So my whole life I sold drugs, weed, cocaine, everything you can think of. I've done it through my whole high school and college career. Nothing to be proud of, but I had no reason to stay in school. I had no reason to study. I had no reason to better myself. In 2019, I went away for 3 years, and I did a lot of self-development in this time and realized that to build a skill takes time, and it's admirable to build skills and to share them with the world. So when I came home, I decided I'm going to put all my effort into day trading. It went very slow, very rocky, and I didn't have the money to pay for a mentorship, so I did it on my own. Then I ran into AI, or LLMs, ChatGPT, and I started, anytime I had a question on options or trading or futures, I asked GPT and got an instant answer instantly. So then I was like, okay, this can be my teacher. This can be my mentor. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to make money from home. I discovered ChatGPT, OpenAI, and I decided to dive in and learn. So this is how I use it daily. So I can learn way faster than the average person. I can give my LLM large amounts of information, like a YouTube transcript. You ever seen a YouTube video that's an hour and a half long explaining how to do this, how to do that, full course on this? Great. I can take that video, parse it for the transcript, run it through my LLM, get a summary, ask for the key points, and then have it explain it to me. How is that not better than listening to someone rant for an hour and a half? It's incredible. Then on top of it, I can ask it questions. Okay, when you said this, what do you mean by that? Then it'll give me a definitive answer, more explanations. Okay, I'm an AI generative architect. I can build code and build scripts 10 times faster than if I were doing it myself. I can create applications, websites, images, anything faster. Content faster, transcripts faster. So I'll dive in to show you what I've done, but these are the lessons that I've learned. AI doesn't replace anybody, all right? It's only going to amplify your skills and to make you more efficient and faster and better at what you're doing so that you have more time for what you want to do. And the reason it matters is because the discipline to learn a subject stays relevant because you don't give up when you're lost or stuck or don't have the time or don't have the money. Time is compressed with LLMs and AI. Time becomes your best asset because you're learning things quicker. I learned options in a month. I had no idea where options were, and I was intimidated by it. So now I feel like I'm very proficient at options thanks to ChatGPT, and I'll show you how much I've developed in my options trading journal. So I have these things called projects. So take a look on the left side. I have these projects right here. All right. I have options and order flow that I used a lot. I started my AI engineering, and my digital journey was me just trying to figure out what do I want to do with myself and with my life, and how do I monetize myself online. So if you could just see, you see some of these chats that I've done, you know, Streamlit app and a coding job, and I have a jumpstart summary where I have a summary of all the things that I want to accomplish that I update, and then I feed it back into the LLM so it can stay up to date. So these are the few things that I use. So let's just go over one example. I'm not going to go too far into it. Let's go to the options and order flow project. All right, I have 7 files in here. So I have all this documentation that I've taken from key sources of learning, and I fed it into the project to keep it isolated and contained into this project. All right, so now every single conversation that I have with this LLM, I can make a new conversation and it'll remember the context of not only the files but the previous conversations. Do you guys see how many conversations I've had with this thing in the past 3 or 4 months? And if I can start at the beginning, you guys are going to see the funniest, most basic questions. But as you see, look at all this information. Look at all of these conversations I've chatted with Atlas. And then what happens is I instruct Atlas to give me information, and then when I get that long list of data, I then say, okay, that's amazing. Take this conversation and give me a summary with key points. And then what I do with that summary is I go over to Obsidian, which is my second brain, and I want you to look over here at the research tab right here. All right, this research is essentially every conversation I have had with Atlas, and then I've turned it into a basic summary and a outline of what we're talking about. All right, here's absorption, here's 20 delta, 1 standard deviation, here's all my calculations, my tables, what I'm going to do for different account sizes. These are all calculated by ChatGPT. All of these things that you're looking at are all written, organized, and explained by ChatGPT, which then I go and save in my Obsidian files, which are now in Markdown, which I can then feed back into another LLM for later. So do you guys see how much information I have here over the course of 3, 4, 5 months? And none of this was written by me. I'm guiding it, but the LLM is doing the work. This is insane, the amount of data and research I have. If I wanted to write a simple AI agent based on just gamma risk, just based off gamma risk, I'll feed this document into the LLM and it'll be trained on gamma risk. And with anything, this goes for anything in your life. If you want to learn something and you want to be good at something and you want to create on a new topic, get ChatGPT to research it. Use agent mode. Let me go into agent mode. Here's an example of me returning a license plate that I was using for my lease, and I forgot to return the license plate. So I asked ChatGPT in agent mode to help me, give me all the steps I need. Look, here we go. This is great. And it did it while I was I was eating breakfast. And I was like, oh, I gotta return the license plate. Oh man. So then I asked Atlas, I said, I want to return my license plate via the mail. I don't want to go to the DMV. And also in Florida. You got to give context, right? So please find out the exact steps I need to take and write a letter to be mailed with the license plate. And then it did its thing. It researched the guidelines for the DMV. So it worked for 3 minutes. You can see all the work it did in here. It tells you all the steps it's doing. It's incredible. So then it gave me a list of steps to do to return my license plate. Gave me citations, all right, and then it gave me the letter to write to return my license plate. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? And I was eating my breakfast while this whole thing was being done in the background. Unbelievable. So this is how I use ChatGPT and other LLMs every day to make my life easier, more efficient, and make me smarter. So now I'm actually currently building AI applications, and I'm using Codex, which is the ChatGPT's sole coding agent, and I'm building a trading journal just to see if I can do it. So my next few videos are going to show you how I've learned how to speak to a LLM in natural language and get back anything that I want. It's absolutely amazing. I feel like everybody should do it. And personal agents and personal assistants are going to be big in the future. And I think the sooner you can get an LLM to know you and to know your habits, your routines, your daily needs, things you need to get done, I think it'll make everyone more efficient. Thank you for watching. I'm making these videos because I feel like I wish I had videos like this when I was learning, and I just want to help share and give awareness to people that are struggling like me with no education, no real world training. I'm a convicted felon. I won't get jobs at major internships, big companies. I'm going to be self-employed forever, and I need to take control of my life, and this is how I'm doing it. So I hope I can inspire other people. Keep watching the journey. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll make a video about it. Thank you guys.